Hi guys, it's been a while since we've done one of these. So we're back with another edition of book covers. This is part of my personal projects, illustration personal projects to be specific, where I reimagine book covers, especially for books which have really um, resonated with me and that I have really enjoyed reading. So, today I'm going to be talking about a recent read that had me thinking a lot about what it was saying on law, censorship, and things in between. So, let's get started with the book cover for The Memory Police. So, I recently finished reading The Memory Police by Yoko Ogawa in September. I started reading the book actually while traveling through Japan, and I finished it once actually on the day that I got back home. Being a huge admirer of Japanese female authors and the way they wield their words, I was expecting to be blown away with this as well, and I think it delivered a plenty. The book, set off on a remote island in Japan, is excruciatingly relevant, I think, in today's hyper censored environment where we see books getting banned every other day. In the world depicted in the book, with time, an increasing number of items keep disappearing as per the orders of this unknown, unseen force and entity, and it is enforced by this body called the Memory Police. The items that have disappeared range from the mundane to the exotic and include roses and calendars and things in between. There is also a story within the story which forms sort of an allegory to the main story itself, giving you an almost surreal mood as you flip through the pages. For a narrative that is in itself disturbing and destructive in nature, Ogawa's style of writing is mellow and breezy to go through and almost gives this sort of dreamy and weightless feel and environment as you progress through the story in this dystopian world that she has set up for us. The book is haunting, yet the way that the story is molded has this calm and quiet and almost serene quality to it. The beautiful poetic imagery helps us realize as well about the associative nature of memory. That is, we remember the objects for the memories they bring up and not just the object itself. The allegories are strong in this book with references to book burning, which can bring up memories reminiscent of book burning across dictatorships. It is also for images such as these that this is easy to interpret as a political novel, I think. But then again, art is always political, and this book is definitely a piece of art. In addition to the political aspect, Ogawa touches upon dying and loss in the across the book and especially in the last few pages of the book. When it comes to death and loss, memories of the living and the non living don't really die as long as there's somebody around to keep the memories alive. I thought it was a beautiful message on loss and the tenacity of life through the emotions and the memories that carry on beyond ourselves. The tenacity of life is even touched upon throughout the book as the residents go about their lives despite the constant fear surrounding them. In effect, it also, in parts, reminds me of the concept of memento mori, but that's a discussion for another day. The novel itself has a lot of unanswered questions, I think, but doesn't try to answer them. And maybe that's where the beauty of the novel lies. Instead, it focuses on the events as they happen along with the main protagonist's written story. However, maybe it is within these unknown and uncertain environs that we are able to give this bizarre dystopia the attention it deserves. This book is one of those which has stayed with me long after I finished reading it and moved on to others. It made me think deeply not just about the dystopia presented in the book, but also about the world that we live in and its social and political structure. Highly recommend this complex novel as a read to anyone interested in themes across censorship and loss. As part of my book cover series, I interpreted the cover for this book, which is the video you're seeing right now. The ideas were many when it came to this book, since the material was heavy not just in substance but also in imagery. But ultimately, there were two main ideas I wanted to play with in this book: loss and the juxtaposition of how our protagonist and this character in the book, traverse the dystopian world. I also wanted to play with the idea of a gilded cage in the cover, which inspired the color scheme a little bit. Finally, the choice of a limited color spectrum was also derived from the loss of items over time, which I assumed would include color at some point. In fact, many parts of the book did adhere to the lack of color. This was a really fun one to work on, not just because I was bursting with ideas, but also because the book left a huge impact on me. I often find myself coming back to the book and thinking about the different aspects of it and how it has helped me see the world in a different way. I hope you enjoy my version of the book cover as much as I enjoyed both reading the book and making the cover. That's it for this edition of the book cover series. I'll catch you again next time. Bye.